Gary Williams, Celebrity Pro-Am, leads the week of activities heading into the 2011 Melwood Prince George's County Open, presented by Under Armour. That's May 31st to June 5th at the University of Maryland. If there's anything Williams likes as much as basketball, it's golf. The nationwide tour's Melwood Open gets underway this week, but today was the Pro-Am hosted by former Maryland head coach Gary Williams, a golfing addict. Bruce Boudreau is also a huge fan of the sport. He loves it when he can get off the hockey rink to take some time there on the links. Here's what he had to say about how his golf game is coming along.
I think it's getting there. It was pretty good this last week, so I'm hoping that, you know, I'm never going to play on any tour or not, but I think I'm competitive with most people.
It's coming. I took 5 days off last week, but it's there. The problem is when you get to a certain age, you start to ache a little bit. Your swing gets shorter and you don't hit it as good, but I'm going to try to max out this year and see how good I can get.
Gary Williams would love to take part in the U.S. Open.
All right, the U.S. Open tees off at Congressional in 2 weeks. But this afternoon, at the University of Maryland Golf Course, the festivities began with the Melwood Prince George's Open. Now, the nationwide tour gets underway Thursday, but the tournament events begin today. And it was the second annual Gary Williams Celebrity Pro-Am. Plenty of local celebrities on hand for today's event. In addition to Bruce Boudreau, Under Armour CEO Kevin Plank hit the links, along with former Oriole B.J. Surhoff. Believe it or not, that right there is former Wizards coach Eddie Jordan, very slim and trim. Our own Chick Hernandez participated in today's event and caught up with the recently retired Gary Williams before the shotgun start.
Your name is on this Celebrity Pro-Am, and obviously this is your school, and this is the golf course that has really evolved into one heck of a course, according to this nationwide guy.
Yeah, the players it's just like when you're on a basketball court, you find out how good the court is or how the lights are from the players. And these guys that are here this week, a lot of them came back because they were really impressed with the course, and they've got it in great shape. And if the weather holds, it's playing quick, so it could be a tough golf course.
I understand, you know, of these celebs, you have Eddie Jordan out here, you have Kevin Plank. As far as celebs go, who you put your money on as far as best score? And you can't pick yourself.
Chick, I'm picking you. I'd like to put a little pressure on you because
patronizing.
You're playing so much. You should play well.
That's not right. That's
well. I mean, it's well known.
Yeah. This does have your name on it. The pride with the M and everything that you have in this place in this tournament.
Well, now I'm an alumnus of the school. I'm not the basketball coach anymore, but still an alumnus. Still care about the place. And I think when they first came to Maryland about this, we had to convince some people in the administration that how about 4 days of worldwide publicity now with the Golf Channel? I said that'd be great for the university, and they finally went with it, and they did a great job last year. And I think this is the big year. If it really goes well this year, we'll have this thing for a long time, and I think it only helps the university and just the whole area, Prince George's County in particular, but the whole area.
Well, one person you will also see this weekend at Melwood is Billy Hurley. He is a Leesburg, Virginia native and a 2004 graduate of the United States Naval Academy. So if you can, check out his sweet swing and try following him for a couple of holes. Then thank him for his service to our country, because golf is Hurley's second career. Chick Hernandez has that story.
28-year-old Billy Hurley is chasing his dream of making it on the PGA Tour. He's getting a relatively late start because of a recently completed 5-year service commitment to the Navy. Lieutenant Hurley's last assignment was a 2-year stint aboard a 9,200-ton destroyer, the USS Chung Hoon. The crew sailed the Pacific, South China Sea, Red Sea, and Persian Gulf.
For the majority of the time, I was the guy who was overall in charge of driving the ship. It's called the officer of the deck. And, so you do that for 5 hours a day, basically, as your watch. And then you still have your other sort of job. My guys were the guys who were on the flight deck landing and launching the helicopters that we had on board. My guys did all the anchoring, all the underway refueling and replenishment, and we pull alongside another ship to get stores or gas. My guys did all that rigging, and really jacks of all trades. It just worked like crazy.
Week after week, Hurley and the crew focused on anti-terrorism and smuggling efforts in international waters. Golf was not the first thing on his mind.
I took my clubs with me, but I played once the first deployment in the Philippines, and I played once the second deployment in Japan. And so I didn't get to play much golf. I mean, occasionally we hit a couple balls off the flight deck, but I didn't even, maybe, total 15 balls that I hit off the flight deck type thing. Golf clearly became recreational for me, especially for those 2 years when I was in Hawaii on Chung Hoon.
Millie Hurley was a sophomore at the Naval Academy on September 11, 2001. So he took pride in the resurgence of American patriotism when his Navy brothers took out Osama bin Laden.
It's cool to have the guys that, that wear the same uniform I once wore, having executed that mission, and they're obviously the best of the best that the country has to offer in terms of warriors. I don't have any regrets at all. I would not be the player that I am today had I not gone to the Naval Academy. I would not be the person I am today with having not gone to the Naval Academy, not having served in the Navy. And I mean, I got the opportunity to work with fantastic men and women and do some really cool stuff. I had a really good time and have no regrets at all.
And we certainly thank him for his service coming off this Memorial Day. Hurley's next stop after Melwood, the Woodmont Country Club on Monday. That's when he'll try and qualify for this country's national championship, the U.S. Open.
What is it like being here as the now former, which still sounds odd to me?
It sounds odd to me too. 43 years of coaching, it will be odd for a while, but
that is Gary Williams today, Julie, in College Park, a place he knows well. He is the host of the Melwood Prince George's County Open, and frankly, I know he is still getting used to this. I think we're all still getting used to the fact that Gary Williams is the former, now legendary, head coach of the Maryland Terrapins. Hey everybody, we are Parker and Parker. I'm Alex.
I'm Julie. As soon as we started seeing those graphics go up that said former Maryland coach Gary Williams, it just sort of made you cringe a little bit.
Especially for you, and you're a Maryland Terrapin at heart.
That's right. What a lovely day for golf. I can think of not a finer day to get out there.
It was 111 with the heat index. No, I'll tell you what, these guys were out there. Gary, Eddie Jordan, a whole bunch of them were out there doing just fine.
Bruce Boudreau,
a whole crew came out to support Gary Williams for a good cause.
Let's turn now to the one, the only, the former Maryland men's basketball coach, Gary Williams. It's good to see you there, Coach.
Good to be here.
Tell us about this tournament. Let's start with that.
Well, the tournament's part of the Champions Tour, and it's a great thing for the University of Maryland to be a part of it. And it's for the Melwood charity, which does so many great things in the area of our university. So we got this thing started last year, and we just thought we'd continue it this year.
Coach, I was out there this morning. I talked to you briefly before you went off. Every camera there was focused on you. Every golf swing you took, every practice swing you took, you were the guy. A, what does that feel like? I imagine it must be somewhat disconcerting when people watch you play golf.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Is it really odd to have a bunch of cameras and reporters watching every swing you make today out there?
Oh yeah, that was kind of out of my element. You know, I looked over as I was teeing it up and saw all these cameras. So, you know, I don't mind that at a basketball game, but not many people want to take pictures of my golf swing.
Once we found out the news had broken that you were stepping down as head coach at Maryland, I went down to Bentley's on Route 1 and interviewed the owner, John Brown, who's known you, he said, pretty much since the day you showed up in College Park. And he said he was sort of relieved for you that you had made this decision and that he expected you'd spend a lot of time with your golf clubs and with your grandchildren. In what order right now is that taking place?
Well, I think every coach has a tough decision to make just in terms of when it's the right time. There's probably not a right time, but I'm in a good situation where I can do some other things right now, and hopefully I'll enjoy them like I enjoyed being a basketball coach for a long time. And people like John Brown were so important to the success of our program, and John was probably the first friend I had coming here to Maryland 22 years ago.
Coach, I told you about this earlier today, but I want our viewers to hear it. A former colleague of mine, an adult male, this is not a child, said to me about a week after you announced your retirement, I caught up with him, I said, hey dude, what'd you make of Gary's decision? He went, It still hurts, and he said your best legacy, he went to Maryland, is that you made it cool and fun to be a Maryland Terrapin again following what happened in the mid-'80s. I can't imagine a better compliment for a coach.
Well, it's a lot of people said nice things, and I really appreciate it. What I tried to do in coaching was to, you know, as a coach, you have a great chance to teach, and you're teaching the game of basketball, but also people are learning about, you know, how to live, and you change a lot from 18 to 22 years old. So I always felt that was part of the deal, where you did the best you can with all of your players.
Whenever anyone makes a huge decision, it's hard to not second guess yourself. Have you ever, since you made the decision, looked back and said, am I doing the right thing?
Excuse me? I couldn't hear that.
Have you second guessed yourself at all in your decision to step down?
I never second guess myself as a coach, so I wouldn't second guess my decision. I thought about this a long time. This wasn't just a 1 week decision. This has been a couple years in the making, and if you look around the country in Division I coaching, there's not many people coaching over 66 years old, so you know, I feel like I'm very fortunate to have done what I've done.
Coach, a lot of other coaches and former coaches, Eddie Jordan, Bruce Boudreau, they came out today to support your event today. What's it like to have their support, and did you get to talk with those guys at all?
I couldn't hear you. This is not a great connection, so I couldn't hear.
I'll try one more time. Did you get to talk with Bruce Boudreau, Eddie Jordan, any of the other coaches out there today with you?
Yeah, I did get a chance to talk to both Eddie Jordan and Bruce Boudreau, and I played golf with Bruce before, and you know, I just think he's one of the great coaches. When you're in coaching, you study other coaches. You just don't study basketball coaches. And both Eddie Jordan and Bruce Boudreau, you know, those guys can coach, so it's good to have them as your friends.
Coach, former coach, Gary Williams, thank you so much for joining us here on Parker & Parker. We appreciate your time.
Well, thank you for having me, and we go again tomorrow in another Pro-Am, so I'm looking forward to that.
We'll see you out there. We'll film every one of your swings, Coach. I wanted the viewers at home to know that first drive on number 1, right down the middle.
Just don't pick me up to the second or third hole tomorrow, okay?
Coach, thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. Okay.
Heavy hitters today at the Gary Williams Pro-Am for the Melwood Prince George's County Open. There's Terps AD Kevin Anderson with Under Armour founder Kevin Plank. Nice little handshake. And how about the host himself, Gary Williams? Oh, the coach can swing it pretty good right down the middle. And how about the Caps head coach, Bruce Boudreau, serving as one of these celebrity golfers? The lefty getting it done. But who didn't get it done? How about our own Dave Feldman putting the am in amateur? Feldy, where's your ball, pal? Come on back to the fairway. Couldn't find his ball, but he did find Gary Williams.
It's nice to have a Pro-Am named after you, Gary, because you love this game, you love this school, and it's a nice fit.
Yeah, it is. It makes sense, too, for the university. It really does. I mean, you get 4 days of really worldwide exposure now with the Golf Channel, and it's a great thing. Plus, the university should do some things, and this is Prince George's County, Melwood. You know, there's so many good things about this that the university should be a part of that, you know, hopefully we'll do a great job this year, and it'll be an annual occurrence here.
The first round of that nationwide tour event is Thursday out at the University of Maryland. And Brian, I hope that the pros don't find any Titleists with the initials DF on them. I'm sure they're scattered all over the fairways.
I don't think the pros will be in the woods.
Caught up with Gary today at the Pro-Am for the Melwood Prince George's County Open. There's Terps AD Kevin Anderson and Under Armour founder Kevin Plank. And there is the host himself, Coach Williams. He can swing the golf club, folks. He's got some more time in his hands, and that swing will probably even get better. There's Caps head coach Bruce Boudreau, the lefty, getting it done. Yeah, nice job there, Coach. How about our own Dave Feldman? Feldy, where is your ball? I mean, are you getting close to it yet? He never found his ball, but he did find the Caps head coach and tried to flip the script on him.
We're going to follow you and follow you hitting some shots today. And with my editing, you know that probably what we're going to show won't put you in the best light.
Well, I just want them to show you your swing once, and then they'll all know what it's all about.
For some reason, Feldy never got us that video of his swing. I wonder why.
And some of the biggest names in local sports hit the links today. Caps head coach Bruce Boudreau and Eddie Jordan took part in the Melwood Prince George's County Golf Open. But when you're in College Park, only one man can truly headline an event. It still sounds a bit odd. Gary Williams, former head coach.
It sounds odd to me too. 43 years of coaching, it will be odd for a while. But
Williams was once again front and center in College Park today. He is hosting this week's Melwood Prince George's County Open, the Nationwide Tour's annual stop in our area. Suffice to say, Gary has more time for golf these days.
The problem is when you get to a certain age, you start to ache a little bit. Your swing gets shorter and you don't hit it as good. But I'm going to try to max out this year and see how good I can get.
Former Wizards coach Eddie Jordan played in today's Pro-Am. And so did Capitals coach Bruce Boudreau, who, given Gary's retirement, is that much closer to being the longest tenured local coach.
Please touch wood on that somewhere.
Boudreau played around with Gary just after his retirement.
There's an icon, and there's somebody that you don't replace. And I mean, other coaches are going to come in, but you know, Gary Williams is a name synonymous with Maryland basketball, and it will be for a long time.
We're all really happy for Gary. He leave on his own terms, leave at a time, and enjoy life a little bit. It's awesome.
There you go. All the coaches in town. Great event. Always great to see Gary.
I'm just telling you, always great to see Bruce Boudreau swing a golf club. It doesn't look like he can do it, but man, he can hit the ball.
He can. He was getting some distance out there.
I tell you.
He'll beat you out on the course.
Yeah, he could easily.
You were lucky enough to get some expertise on the finals. Today, Gary Williams and Eddie Jordan played in the Celebrity Pro-Am for the Melwood Prince George's County Golf Open. The former Terp head coach and the former Wizards head coach took a break from the links to break it down tonight for us.
Some of the greatest competitors in the game, like Jason Kidd, Nowitzki, and then LeBron, Wade, guys like that just want to compete. So this is where it's good. They're not playing for money right now. They're playing for pride.
Oh, I have no predictions. I enjoy watching it, and may the best team win.
When Gary Williams reluctantly walked away from the University of Maryland earlier this month, he admitted one of the pluses would be having more time to indulge his passion for golf. Who knew he'd have this many playing partners? Bruce Boudreau, Eddie Jordan, B.J. Surhoff, our own Brian Mitchell among those who turned out today for Gary's Celebrity Pro-Am, kicking off this week's Melwood Prince George's County Open. That's the PGA's nationwide tour event in College Park. And the Williams handicap is already shrinking.
The problem is when you get to a certain age, you start to ache a little bit. Your swing gets shorter and you don't hit it as good. But I'm going to try to max out this year.
I'm never going to play on any tour or not, but I think I'm competitive with most people.
I was a little bit shocked that they invited me, but anything for Gary Williams, I will do.
Eddie Jordan looks. When rumors started that Gary Williams was going to retire from Maryland basketball, but would stay on with the athletic department in some other capacity, some people thought he was going to become the school's golf coach. Want to bet he'd be good at it? Gary's a pretty good golfer, and he got to play the other game that he loves with some good friends today. Bruce Boudreau, Eddie Jordan, our own Brian Mitchell, among those who posted for Gary's Celebrity Pro-Am, kicking off the Melwood PG County Open. The nationwide tour comes to us with that. Gary continues to adjust to life without the daily ulcer of college basketball.
If you do coach 43 years in a row, you've been doing it for a long time, a lot of pressure, and it's a good feel. You're not worried every night about a certain player or whatever, and so there's some really positive things. And as long as I find some things to do, I'll be fine.
Gary, a little witness protection there.